Okay, welcome back to Beat the Lockdown. This week we are discussing our festival face-off playlists, Battle Royale, Best Festival of 2013. How this is going to work, we're going to have 3 episodes. Each episode we'll be discussing a 14-song playlist, of which 7 different festivals have each contributed 2 songs each. At the end of it, by correlating our choices, we will work out what in our view is the best festival of 2013. Okay, so without further ado, we'll move into the first playlist. We'll each make our selections, and then we'll have a little discussion as to why we picked those afterwards. Playlist number 1, Tom, you go first.
I had I Will Wait, Mumford & Sons, Black Chandelier, Biffy Clyro, You Give Love a Bad Name, Bon Jovi, and then Top Dog, Charmer, Kings of Leon.
Pete.
I went for Brian Storm, Arctic Monkeys, Right Here, Right Now, Fatboy Slim, Run to the Hills, Iron Maiden, and Real Slim Shady, Eminem.
My choices were Brian Storm, Arctic Monkeys, Right Here, Right Now, Fatboy Slim, Steve Angelo, but in this case in the guise of Swedish House Mafia, Leave the World Behind, and finally I picked Kings of Leon, Charmer.
What was your method behind picking your picks? Was it you were in a field at a festival, or was it they were just songs you like?
I think it's tough really, because I generally, with the 4 that I went, I think actually probably subconsciously went for as if I was seeing them at a festival. I don't think I meant to do that, but I think I have. Because the 4 I picked, obviously, Brian Storm is a powerhouse of a tune. No build-up, no nothing, bang, straight in. And also just has that energy to it that a decent festival track needs. Fatboy Slim, I remember specifically seeing that track played at Glastonbury Festival, and he did a really good version of the original video for the song as a live video backdrop while he was playing it.
So if you were at a festival, would you be going to a dance tent, like looking, like almost going through the gates and then making a beeline for the dance tent, or is it just
No. I mean, what I love about generally across the world, but I mean particularly in the UK, what I love about festivals in the UK is there is a vast array of different festivals. I think that's changing a little now. I think we're finding that some festivals that we knew as a particular genre, if you will, when we were of an early age going to festivals and doing it year in, year out, I think those genres have kind of blurred a little bit. Comments from a lot of people, they were like, "Oh, Reading isn't a rock festival anymore. It's changed. It's more of a."
Reading's not been a rock festival for a long time though.
I don't know. I mean, I think if you go back, I mean, there was a year when you two both went and I didn't, where Pete you went because you really wanted to see Foals, and I can't remember why you went, Tom.
I think
you went the day that Biffy were playing, if I remember rightly.
Certainly changed. They certainly allowed more other genres in, like, you know, there's been some big hip hop acts there, and there's always been a dance, like a hardcore stage or something. There's always been other things there, but it does feel like now, I guess rock music and guitar music in general has seen a downward, in popularity. Like,
I think that bubble burst, didn't it?
And the festival was just reflecting that. Really,
we're obviously starting to get to that point where we're personally a little long in the tooth with regards to music and where our viewpoint on genres are. One thing that I would say defend us with that is we've always been open-minded to the fact that we aren't people who necessarily are as up to date with current music, and that doesn't necessarily make it bad. It just means that it's not necessarily stuff that we are as keen on. But the one thing I would always say, I think though, one thing I would say is an absolute, and I'll stand up for this, even if people say, "Oh no, you're just saying that because it was your era." But I think the era when I was going to Reading and Leeds anyway. I think the reason it worked then is because you had a main stage which year in, year out would have that mix between indie, rock, metal. There'd be a couple of hip hop artists put in place. You know, we had 50 Cent headline that year. Obviously, it didn't go particularly well. We had Eminem headline a couple of times within 15 years. There've been situations whereby there've been artists further down the bill. I think we've seen Snoop Dogg on the main stage before now. Cypress Hill played on the main stage. There have been artists that in that era, so I would say from 2000 to 2015, that did play. But what I thought was so good about the festival for that period of time is that you had that mix on the main stage. You had the brand new stuff, which was not genre specific on whatever the third or fourth stage was. The second stage, which, you know, we obviously had this debate before, but, you know, the Radio 1 NME stage generally tended to be those bands that were either too big to be early in the day on the main stage or too small to headline. Then what made Reading for me, when I used to go the festival that it was the lock-up stage, and the fact that one day of the lock-up stage was the dance stage. So you didn't get this kind of like mishmash of genres all over the place. So you had this thing whereby you had the lock-up stage, which was much more your kind of Less Than Jakes and your what I would call your Tony Hawk's soundtrack style bands playing for a couple of days on there, and then one day of dance music, and that meant that it gave that opening to bands like Uncle, Justice, Soul Wax, Dead Mouse, all these bands that kind of if you went to an alternative club, you could hear their music playing, and people were getting into them, but they didn't necessarily want to be going to Creamfields where you're just going to hear that all day.
Do you feel that Reading then, as a result, has somewhat lost its identity? Because I know what you were saying earlier. Yeah, like
that's the thing. I don't think it's lost its clout as a festival. I think it's just lost its identity. I think there's two elements to it. One is obviously the downfall of V Festival. V Festival now no longer really existing. Has meant.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think it's been gone for like 3 years now. And I remember, well, my first ever festival was V Festival many years ago. And I remember the main stage being like Ash, Hives, Foo Fighters. I'm trying to remember, the Cardigans, I think, played that day. Coldplay. So like it was kind of, I don't know, Reading come Glastonbury at the time, but it very much changed. V Festival very much became a more
became more family festival, didn't it?
Yeah, it became a lot more of a populist sort of festival. You know, people like the Sugar Babes appearing, and
yeah. The year I went, the 1 year I went, I saw Radiohead, but Girls Aloud were also playing there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So with the fall of that, it's kind of made this opening for Wireless Festival has become something completely different to what it used to be. Wireless Festival is a lot more of kind of urban music, R&B, rap. Whereas I remember seeing the White Stripes play in Hyde Park for the Wireless Festival before it moved to, because it's in Finsbury Park. That's it. That's where Wireless is now.
I always thought Wireless Festival was a dance festival. I don't know why. I thought it was like dance and trance music that you'd hear there.
No,
I've never seen them, but
the year I went, I could have sworn, it was I'm fairly certain it was headlined by, well, the day I went was headlined by the White Stripes, and Bell and Sebastian played earlier in the day as well. And I remember there was a second stage, and I remember walking in. As we walked in, we're like, "Oh, there's a band playing. We'll go in. We'll go have a look." And it was the Pigeon Detectives playing. I think they were like first on the second stage. But that's the thing. Festivals, at their nature, are built to try and make people go to them, and that's how they make their money. And if a certain type of music is not producing at that particular time, you can't expect festivals to just recycle the same bands over and over again. So yeah, if they aren't out there, then I can understand why Reading and Leeds has gone the way it has, but it doesn't mean it's a festival I'm going to be going to anytime soon, particularly now I don't live in Reading. But yeah, I mean, I think I subconsciously picked the 4 tracks I picked by actually them being the ones that I want to hear at a festival. You picked Eminem, Pete.
I did. It's funny Tom mentioned whether you were picking it because of artists you want to listen to at a festival or watch at a festival, or rather than sort of on record. Because one of the earlier videos we did, I was picturing myself like watching them and being at a festival. Funnily enough, I didn't really do that this time around, despite this being a festival playlist. So I was really just going by sort of how much I liked the songs. Hence, when I saw it was Brian Storm and Right Here, Right Now at the top, I was like, boom, those are going on.
Away, yeah.
And then the rest of them were a little bit more of a thought process. There were some I generally didn't like on here, but there's a couple like Kings of Leon. I was a little bit like, because that era of Kings of Leon I really like, but I never really liked Charmer that much. So if you picked another song, I might have switched Eminem out for that. But as it was, I picked Eminem. There's certain bits of that Eminem track which I kind of feel are a bit problematic these days. I much preferred Eminem when he was a bit more fun rather than the darker stuff he did. But yeah, so that was the one I could have possibly swapped out for something else, but nothing just like Biffy as well. I don't really think Black Chandeliers, I don't think all that much of it. It's all right. There are better tracks that I think you could have picked. So I went for my third one was Iron Maiden, Runs to the Hills, which before listening to it, I was like, yeah, I quite like that. And I put it on, I was like, I do like this. This is good. Iron Maiden, I've never seen them live. I'd quite like to. I'd never been to a festival like sort of Download or some of the heavier kind of stuff. I'm sure there'd be a few bands that I'd quite like to see. Yeah.
You're right, Pete. Like I actually hadn't heard Run to the Hills for a long time. And when I put it on, I was like, yes, absolutely. Powerhouse tune. The only other sort of outlier I would say would be Tom's choice of Mumford.
That was purely because I imagine myself being in a hot summer's day, mostly drunk, and singing my heart out to this song.
Yeah. See, this is where you and me differ, because that doesn't sound like a good time to me.
I mean, I think I sit almost dead centre in the middle of your two opinions of Mumford and Sons. I like Mumford and Sons. I have tired of them a little. You struggle to kind of understand why someone would be, I'm a all out and out Mumford and Sons fan.
Yes, I can't. I don't hate them. I can't really get my head round why people like, or at least did at the time, really just lose their shit over them.
Can I ask your opinions on a particular song, because it's not once come up yet, and when I listened to this playlist, I think the minute it came on, I was like, all right, this is a weird song. Then I listened to the lyrics and I laughed my ass off. is Blame It on the Boom Boom by Blackstone Cherry.
Yeah, so I've never heard of that band or the song, and I listened to that, and I was just like, "What is this? Not good." That's all I'll say about it.
Lyrics that say if you wake up in someone else's bed, blame it on the boom boom, which kind of sounds like it sounds like they're trying to explain a one-night stand to a child.
Yeah.
I guess. I think it's maybe a little more sinister than that, but yeah, not a song I was going to be picking anytime soon. Not a fan of that. I think the only thing I was trying to say about the Mumford thing and being minorly controversial is not that I didn't like the song, because I do like that song. It's the picking of it over the other tracks that are on it. Okay, so here's the big question. We need to move 4 artists on from this playlist to put into our ultimate 2013 festival playlist. We've moved on Arctic Monkeys, Brian Storm. We are forwarding Right Here, Right Now, Fatboy Slim, and Charmer, Kings of Leon.
So did you pick that as well, James?
Yeah.
Okay, right.
So we could pick Mumford & Sons, Bon Jovi, Biffy Clyro, Iron Maiden, or Swedish House Mafia. Or we can pick one of the others, but we need to make a consensus on one more track.
Out of the ones I didn't pick, out of those, that only got one vote, I would probably go for Biffy.
Right.
Putting that out there, if that helps.
Tom, what about you? If one more track that you didn't pick?
I didn't pick?
Yeah.
Probably... I would love to say Blame It on the Boom Boom, but I'm not. I'm guessing you don't want me to pick one that's already gone through, because the 2 that I would have picked have already gone through.
Okay. Well, if that's the case, are you sticking to your favourite one other than the ones that have gone through is Biffy?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's lucky, because my favourite one other than that is Biffy as well. So I think we're going to move on Biffy. Biffy Clyro.
I think it's a damn shame that's being picked over Run to the Hills, but if that's the consensus, then
See, I would have been 50-50, but you've picked Biffy, Pete, and
no, I only picked Biffy. I only said that because it was one of the ones that you guys picked. I would, if I had my choice, I would go for Iron Maiden.
Okay, right. Okay, let's put them both forward. Yeah, because we can't pick between them. So. Slightly different to what we do in other playlists, I will just very quickly reveal which of these artists were from which festival. So we have Arctic Monkeys were from Glastonbury that particular year. Fatboy Slim was from Festival.
I wasn't.
Kings of Leon were from V Festival. Biffy Clyro was from Reading and Leeds. And Iron Maiden was from Download. So we have picked 5 different festivals there. So it's going to be very much down to playlists 2 and 3 as to what's going on. The only festivals that didn't get any choices there were the Isle of Wight, which in that particular playlist was represented by Bon Jovi and Sub Focus, and Creamfields, which was represented by Tiesto and David Guetta. Okay.
That Tiesto one, that just makes me roll my eyes. Like,
it's
a great piece of music, and what he's done to it,
it's ruined
it just makes me groan. Okay,
so that is the end of episode 1 of our festivals Face Off Battle Royale Best Festival 2013. The artists we've picked to move into our best of 2013: Arctic Monkeys, Fatboy Slim, Kings of Leon, Biffy Clyro, and Iron Maiden. Please join us again for episode 2.